Hey everyone, been saving up the old allowance for the last little bit, so new computer time. And with that glamour shot out of the way, let's get this thing put together. Picked up a B550 Gaming Plus board from MSI because it was in sale and cheap. And of course the motherboard was the last part to arrive. Came a week after all the other parts, in fact. But got a good deal on it, so no real complaints. So it doesn't look like it's used or anything like that, which is good. Let's pop this back in here and see what other goodies came with this. Don't think I'm going to need the SATA cables, hopefully. Got a driver DVD just in case. Sticker, this is what I was looking for. The M2 screws. Looks like that's it in terms of hardware. We'll use this white insert from the motherboard box to rest this on. Some of you might be tempted to use the anti-static bag that it came in. Contrary to what many people think, this thing is actually conductive on the outside. It's basically a Faraday cage, got tiny little metal strips usually embedded in it, so not a good idea to be using this as insulation for anything. And the processor, got a Ryzen 9 5900X. Decided to splurge a bit on this. Namely because Canada Computer screwed me over indirectly again. This chip was initially supposed to be a 5700X3D, which Canada Computers had in sale for $199, little walk-in special. When I saw that, I ordered these parts the night before, and the morning when I was getting ready to go to Canada Computers, the walk-in special was gone, but still managed to get this for 300 bucks from Amazon. Not a bad deal. Okay, now hopefully I remember how to put a CPU in. So looks like it lines up this way. Looks good. Clip that down. That's the CPU taken care of. And for the RAM, I got two of these kits. I'm hoping I'm not going to run into any wacky issues with this, but yeah, 128 gigs total. Why, you may be asking, do I need 128 gigs? This is why. Only going to put one kit in for now. This is one of these fancy new ones, only this side opens up. I am not a fan of this socket. Don't like that there's no clip in the other side. Sorry, didn't realize this thing wasn't recording. Went in a whole spiel about how I didn't like the RAM slots. But yeah, basically only one side has the RAM clip, and the other side here, the RAM chip just slots straight down and doesn't appear to have any kind of retention. But I'm assuming MSI knows what they're doing. Now for a fancy new cooler, Thermaltake Peerless Assassin 120 SE. And also, word of warning, there's probably going to be a lot of you yelling at the screen over the next little bit. Yeah, last system I put together was the Ryzen 1700, or actually 2600, and that was quite a few years ago. Right, so two fans. I'm assuming this is the mounting hardware and the cooler itself. So it looks like for AM4 we want this toilet paper tube looking guy right there, not to be confused with this one here, hopefully. Oh, and also these brackets. So why did I decide to upgrade my computer, or get a new computer I should say? Well, some of you have probably been noticing the lack of video uploads for me. Sorry, just a little diversion from that story. I'm not sure if I should stick with this or use the Arctic Silver. Gonna Google that before I open this up. But yeah, like I was saying, video uploads haven't been too frequent in the last little bit. Mind you, most of that is because I've been crazy busy. However, this is what it looks like when I'm editing a video when I do playback. Here we go. So we've got 5 calibration knobs here. Question is, which one controls the voltage? Well, one way to find out. So this is what we're gonna do. We'll hook this up as normal. Power this on. This is set to voltage DC, and I'm gonna And this is with me turning off thumbnails and setting the timeline resolution, the little preview box resolution, to like a quarter the size, and it still does that. What I usually have to end up doing is playing through the timeline once, making sure it looks semi-okay as far as I can tell, then rendering it, watching the render as well as uploading it to YouTube, and praying that there's no errors or bad edits or anything like that. And then, of course, if there is a problem, I then have to go back to DaVinci Resolve and fix that, re-render again, watch it again. I'm hoping this is gonna rid me of that problem. And I am pretty sure that a lot of the problems are coming from the fact that I'm doing 4K rendering, but honestly, I'd rather not scale the quality back at this point in time. I mean, quality with quotation marks, of course. So I believe I take these off. Also, with how big this cooler is, I'm really hoping it doesn't interfere with the RAM slots. We'll find out, I guess. Here we go, AM4. I've already taken out the these screws and the original brackets. So it looks like, yeah, pop the toilet paper thing down, put these half moon things in like that, facing inward, and hit them with the screws. That's strange. Why is there a screw right there? Oh, I'm stupid. There's a little thumb screw thingy right there, which will hopefully hook onto that bolt. Let's get this tacked in. And yeah, that's not right. We'll tighten these down now. Not too tight as to crack the motherboard. I am gonna go look up if I should use this or my Arctic Silver. Be right back. Alright, so everyone on the internet is saying to use the Arctic Silver 5. So let's get on the totally correct amount of thermal paste. And that, my friends, is the correct way to apply thermal paste. Just dab it around until it looks right. Also, never forget to pull the sticker off of here. It does tell you, but yeah, I've seen quite a few people forget to do that. So it looks like we clip this down first, then pop the fans in. And I probably should check to make sure this thing actually posts before I put all the cooling stuff on, but we'll live dangerously, I guess. Hopefully that's lined up. And of course, don't torque down one all the way, then come back and do the other one. Do them a bit at a time so you don't squeeze all the thermal paste out one side. Hey, it's me from the future. I am going to cut out a whole bunch of me waffling around trying to figure out direction of airflow in the fans, where to put the fans, and how to mount the fans. To sum it up, I figured out the airflow direction, and the manual does say to mount one of the fans over the RAM chips. However, because I don't have all 4 chips in right now, I'm only going to leave one fan in until I make sure this thing's running. Once we make sure it's running, we'll pop the other 2 chips in, make sure it's still running after that, then put the second fan in. And for the video card, 4060. Some of you might recognize this card as being off my buddy's build, which it is. Thanks to him for hooking me up with this. And now for the power supply. This is a used power supply I bought a few years back. I actually picked up 2 of these, and I am using one of these in a NAS right now, and it's behaving itself. I've got no reason to think this one should blow up or anything like that. It's an EVGA 750 GQ, mostly modular, except for the 24 pin, of course. No reason to make that modular. So 8 pin here, and 8 pin to the video card. Okay, ready for the first test now. Gonna turn on the power supply switch, then short out these 2 jumpers right here, which should turn on this machine, and I'll use my phone to record the monitor, and hopefully this works. Turning on now, and we have fan spin. And nothing on the screen so far. I'm hoping it's just the memory taking a while to train. Yep, perfect. Okay, 64 gigs of RAM. Needs setup. That's fine. 5900X, perfect. And I am praying that these two RAM kits will work together properly. I mean, it is the same kit, but I've seen weirder crap. Oh, and why did I choose this RAM? It was cheap. Same thing with everything else. Alright, same deal as before. Turn this on. Hopefully this works. Perfect. Actually, not so perfect. Me again. Gonna spare you watching me fumbling around for a couple of hours and just cut to the chase. This is the part that I call the RAM saga. So, this RAM is rated for 3600 megahertz. And you may remember that on the initial boot up, the RAM was running at 2133 megahertz. Strictly speaking, that's what the real RAM speed is. Anything above that is technically an overclock. Well, technically the real speed is actually half of that, but the whole DDR, SDR thing doesn't matter here. Go read up on that yourself if you ever have trouble sleeping. Anyways, the easiest way to get that overclock is to just enable one of the XMP profiles, which has the speed setting pre-programmed in it. However, when I went to enable the XMP profile, I was a little bit confused because for some weird reason, both profiles wanted me to set the speed to 4000 megahertz. I'm not one to argue, so I did, and it didn't post. I then cleared the CMOS and manually set it to 3600, and it booted. I was a little sad I didn't get the 4000, but I mean, at least there's not going to be any more memory issues to contend with from this point on, right? And with the RAM behaving perfectly for the 2 minutes that it had been booted up, I decided everything was okay and popped the cooler back on. Then install the NVMe. No surprises there to report. I mean, at least this motherboard had a proper heatsink for the NVMe. Didn't have to do any kind of janky cooling solution for it. So, no news is good news, I guess. After that, popped in the power supply, which fit like a glove. Then tried to do the same thing with the motherboard, and I gotta admit, I'm a little disappointed with MSI with this one. The case does look pretty good, but the motherboard standoffs were, let's say, irritating. First of all, there wasn't any labeling on the case to tell you which standoffs were for ATX or MATX. Maybe that's not a thing anymore, I don't know. Also, felt like I was cross-threading every standoff screw into the case, so the machining could have been a little bit better. After that, this happened. First annoyance right here is these cables right here coming off the fan. Can't really see, but the this header is jamming right into them. Not sure why they didn't just have the wires coming out like at the top here, but yeah, I think I'm gonna unscrew this fan and turn it 90 degrees. Fan is now shifted 90 degrees, and these wires hopefully shouldn't be a problem. Either way, I got everything put into the case and did a fine job cable managing it. Also, I found out the weird thing at the back of the case was for the pretty light, so didn't need to waste any time hooking that up. Then installed Windows 10. And again, no surprises. Figured I was home free at that point, and as you can probably guess, I wasn't. When I was loading it up with software, I just keep getting random errors and blue screens continuously. Was literally playing whack-a-mole with errors that I couldn't even replicate half the time. And those blue screens, not as if I could Google them because it was a different blue screen error every time. Wasn't happy. Then I noticed that the BIOS was from 4 years back. So I figured, hey, that's the issue. Went ahead and updated it, booted it up, and behold, it didn't fix anything. Then I remembered that there was a reason that my current/old computer's RAM was running at 3000 megahertz rather than the advertised 3200. You see, after I built it, every so often I would get a weird blue screen crash. Nothing major, maybe once a month if that. Enough to make you think that it's just Windows being Windows. Now, this was quite a few years back, so I don't remember how I came to this conclusion, but I ended up dropping the RAM speed back one notch to 3000 megahertz and haven't had any more of these crashes. So I then dropped the RAM speed on the new PC down to 3200, and guess what? All those errors and blue screens magically stopped happening. And also, guess who was a little ticked off that his new PC's RAM is only running 200 megahertz faster than the old one from 6 years ago? Anyways, I digress. And just to make sure everything was kosher, I ran Prime 95 on it for a good hour or so, testing both the CPU and the RAM while using IDA 64 to keep an eye on the temps. And yeah, there was probably a saner way to do that, but keep in mind this was around 1 a.m. at this point. In any case, that went off with no hitches and all the software started behaving itself. And that ended the RAM saga. Now, not going to bore you with fancy benchmarks or anything, but I can show you this comparison. Here's a RimWorld save that I stopped playing back in February on the old computer, because it seemed like it was starting to take basically one full day for RimWorld to tick over one in-game day. Not sure why it's doing that. Couldn't possibly be these 5 bases, insane number of mods, large number of colonists, or these Priz guests here. So we'll load up the same save on both PCs and run them side by side. Notice the TPS, or ticks per second counter, in the bottom right. Now, mind you, it's not that great on the new PC either, but it is playable. And for those of you wondering about the video editing, here's some Inception stuff for you right now. Possibly be these 5 bases, insane number of mods, large number of colonists, or these Priz guests here. So we'll load up the same save on both PCs and run. That is 1,000,000 times better and actually usable now. So here's the price breakdown for this. Now, wasn't a steal of a deal, but it wasn't anything too exorbitant. And with any luck, I won't be needing to upgrade this anytime soon. Anyways, I'm happy, and provided nothing else crazy happens, should be more videos coming out more often now. Thanks for watching. Take care. And here's a glorious view of the new battle station right here, next to the old one right there. And they're both next to this ottoman that I rest my feet on, which gonna have to re-upholster again, it looks like. In any case, let me turn this off. So you can kind of see why I don't really care for the fancy lights on this. And to be honest, even when I had this thing set up on the table next to me to put together, God, those lights were annoying even in my peripheral vision. So that lives underneath my desk, and here's a little peek at the messiness that's my desk currently. In any case, thanks for watching. Take care.